time. So then means whenever you have a time, you can revise easily. Okay, main point. What is an operating system? You have a computer hardware, right? So you take a computer, laptop, or mobile phone, whatever it is. The first layer is a hardware layer. Without a hardware, there is no device. It is right. So we have a hardware. Hardware means generally it comes in CPU, RAM, storage. I said hard disk, but different devices, different type of storages. Hard disk, SSDs, eMMC kind of storages. Okay, and other I/O related kind of stuff. Okay, so that is what our hardware layer it is. Now we have a mobile phone or maybe a laptop or maybe a desktop. That hardware part is there. I want to use this device. I want to use this device. I am the user. I'm the user. Okay. So for example, I'm writing on a paint, right? So I'm drawing on a paintbrush, or I'm browsing. I'm using a browser to browse website, right? So I'm using a WhatsApp application, okay, to check my WhatsApp kind of stuff, right? So through certain application or certain interface, to that certain interface, user able to work. Okay, so who will give this user interface? So user interface means user interfaces or applications. Okay, that is enough. Okay, so you need a certain interface to work with your device, right? You should not, you cannot understand how to give instruction to the computer directly. You don't need it to code. Okay, sorry, you have to code in a, you have to give programming, like to do certain tasks. You have to write a code to your processor, to your system, your computer. So that code is not in a C language, Java language. The code is should be in the very basic level, low level language, like a binary language, machine level language, or a binary language, or a hexa code. That low level we will learn. We have to give. But how many, so people who are using a computer, everybody should know how to program it. Now it is not required, right? What it is? Morning I take a laptop and power on the laptop. Okay, I just waited for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Then this I open Microsoft Teams. Okay, I open remaining things, and by 10:15 I join in the meeting. I'm waiting for people. Okay, very simple, right? You know, I don't require to know how computer works, how processor works, how to give up instructions. I should know how to interact with my applications. Okay, how to interact with these interfaces. So that is make more easy. How it is possible? Because of operating system. Because of operating. So then we will see hardware. This is the user and this is the operating system. Hardware having like CPU, memory, hard drive kind of stuff. And this is a user use computer by operating system, by using some operating system. Okay. What is an operating system? Operating system is a software. Operating system is also a software. Software does not mean always a kind of application. Okay, software, it means it is a code or a program. Operating system is a program or a software which acts as an interface between end user and a computer hardware. So your operating system is interact with your hardware as well as interact with the user. Every computer must have at least one operating system to run other programs. You want to run a Google Chrome, you want to run a Microsoft Word, you want to play a games. What is required? Of course, you are already having hardware, but we required an operating system to run these things. OS help you to communicate with the computer without knowing how to speak computer's language. Without knowing how to speak to computer language, like a binary languages, like a what is an assembly languages, ASCII keys. Okay, so computer understanding level means the processor understanding level. That low level we don't need to learn. Simply we have an operating system. Through operating system we are able to communicate with our hardware. You want to play a song. What you will do in computer? We open a song, play with some application. The application running on our operating system. So operating system understand this application and then what is the song. It will give song details to your hardware. Song means that in it decode the song the codec to and give it to the your audio chip. Audio chip again convert and send to the your speakers. Okay. It is not possible for user to use any computer or a mobile device without having operating system. Okay. So these are the basics of operating system. Guys, you got a question, for example, what is an operating system? Every computer must have at least one operating system to run other programs. Yeah, I will share these PPTs directly to you. Okay, so then what are the things we discuss? So notes is aside. Okay, guys, got it? 1 point operating system. Still net is not open. What happened? Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
no one is speaking. You know my problem, guys. Okay, that is the main problem. My Microsoft Team problem. Second one is my system problem. Okay. So you have to compulsory give some written reply. Otherwise, I thought I will strike that. Okay. Operating system is a software or a program which acts as an interface between end user and a computer hardware. Okay. So what is the use of operating system, guys? Operating system provide a user interface. Operating system provide a user interface. It interact with the hardware. Operating system, using on operating system we can run applications. It provide a user interface and runs applications. Okay, you have an application and you install application, run an application with the help of operating system only. You playing games with the help of operating system only. This operating system generally two parts. Guys, lot of people think because they have gone through this Linux or Unix trainings, they see this diagram, so they think it is a Linux related only or Unix related only. Now guys, any operating system is a basically two parts. One is kernel part, another one is a shell parts. But except Linux and Unix, we don't get more details in a different operating system about a shell and kernel. Okay, that's why we don't discuss that time. But generally, any operating system basically two parts. One is kernel part, another one is a shell part. What is this kernel part? Operating system is interact with your hardware. I said no, operating system interact with the hardware and provide a user interface. Interact with the user means it provide a user interface and runs the application, user application, right? So Which part of operating system interact with the hardware is kernel part. Kernel interacts with the hardware. Kernel manages, understands your hardware components. Okay. There is a concept called a device drivers. You know, when you are using a Windows system, generally we are all using Windows system. You purchase a new printer. For example, you purchase a new printer. You connect a printer, system don't understand what is that printer. What to do? You install a printer drivers. Printer drivers means it is also a certain kind of application or a small program, a piece of code it is. Printer drivers. It is also a program or a application or a software. If you install a device drivers in your PC, so your operating system understand how to interact with that hardware device. You have a audio chip, video graphic card is there. How our operating system knows how to work with it. Okay, you are playing a game or you are hearing a sound or your graphics are should be work, but your operating system and if your operating system understand, then only hardware will understand, right? So how to interact with that hardware using device drivers. So when you install a device drivers, that is also attached to your kernel. Okay, so in a kernel level, so both kernel and as well as your device management device drivers also comes into your kernel level to interact with your hardware, manage your hardware devices, communicate with your hardware components, network management, memory management, disk management, hardware management, all CPU, process management, everything in the kernel level only. Yeah, someone send a message. Don't give any names, guys. I'm not taking any attendance. Okay, people are interested, stay there. That's it. Interact, learn. So I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time in the attendance taking. Otherwise, I will ask later last. Okay. So in a break time, you can give your names or thing. Not now. Interact with the use shell. Another part of operating system is a shell part. Every operating system, both kernel and shell. So the kernel interact with the hardware, shell interact with the user. It is actually provide a user interface. Different type of user interfaces are there. CLI, command line interface. Yeah, Rahul, that is your wish, no problem. Okay. Okay. What is CLI? Command line interface. What is UI? Graphical user interface. TUI, text-based or a terminal-based user interface. In general, we are using either CLI-based operating system or a GUI-based operating system. Currently, I'm using Windows operating system. It's basically GUI, graphical user interface. I can interact with my system. I can manage my system. Okay. I can install any applications. I can do settings, everything graphically, right? So I can interact with my system. So like this, I do simple graphically.
Sir,
Yeah, tell me.
सर
Tell me.
सर एक बार अटेंडेंस आप चेक कर लोगे जरा अमन शर्मा
I didn't take it. I'm not taking any attendance.
ओके सर
Okay, so a
ओके
lot of topics are there. So no problem. Okay, attendance is not mandatory always, guys. Okay, but attend class. Lot of points are there. So if you attend live classes, it is easy for you. Okay. But I will take attendance, not now, but after a 1 hour kind of stuff. Okay. Next, command line interface. Okay, so GUI, graphical user interface. Command line interface means everything you interact in the command prompt only. Okay, I'm unable to show the Linux command line, only single command line, but it is look like this one only. Entire operating system shows like a single command line only. Whatever the thing you do in a command one only. Okay, so some operating systems in a certain mode of operating system, both will work. Both command line and GUI mode, both we can able to do it. For example, Linux in a full mode Linux, that is both GUI mode is there and CLI mode also we can able to work. In a Windows, we can use both Windows full mode and as well as a CLI mode. So for example, I have to go to task manager to check the what are the tasks are going on, right? What is the process is going on? How to check it? Go to task manager and go to process tab, right? But with this command line, how to check it? Just for example, how to manage with the command line. So task list. See, these are the tasks are running in my PC. Okay, compared to Windows to Linux, guys, Windows is a powerful GUI. Command line is not much powerful, means lot of commands are not available for us. Command line purpose we don't know also. Traditional commands we don't know, but lot of commands are there, but not those many commands are we don't have. We are not learning that one. Okay, but powerful GUI maximum for managing your Windows system using GUI mode only, less CLI interface. In a Linux based operating system, more CLI, less GUI, or very less GUI, more CLI, powerful CLI it is. Here it is in the Linux and Unix, there is a shell called bash shell. That is a bash shell is a user interface, and different shells also there, also they use it. Again, guys, kernel interact with the hardware and manage hardware components. So kernel is also, it's like you, if you have a device drivers, you have a devices and you install a device drivers, like a printer driver, scanner drivers. When you install a drivers, the drivers also works at a kernel level, which is interact with your hardware devices. Next, shell provide a user interface. Okay, shell is used to interact with the hardware, run the interact with the user and run the applications. What are the user interfaces? CLI and GUI. CLI command line interface, GUI graphical user interface. Guys, understand up to here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So here different type of operating systems are there, guys. So one type is SOS and another one is NOS. Simple operating system, network operating system. What is simple operating system? You have any desktop operating system, like a client side operating systems, or comes under simple operating system, like a Microsoft does. Windows operating systems means Windows 10, Windows 8, Windows 7, Windows XP, Windows 11 is also a simple operating system. So desktop operating systems. Network operating system. Network operating system meant for meaning is it's a kind of server operating systems. Okay, server operating system. Network operating systems provide a certain network services, or they provide a services through network, like DHCP service, DNS service, Active Directory service means authentication service, deployment service, or VPN services. Okay, or we can say there are a lot of web services, file servers, mail services. Okay, network time services. So different type of services it is providing through network. Okay, so how to get this, how to do these all services? Of course, I will explain these things later. Means after this part, I will explain. Yeah, so Ravan sir said people who are having a interview, so you can go and prepare for interview. Okay. Okay. Next. So what is the server operating systems? Windows Server operating system. Guys, we are Windows 11 or Windows 10, not server operating system. It is a desktop operating system. Windows Server operating system 2019 server operating system. Windows Server 2016, Windows Server 2022 is also a Windows Server operating systems. A Linux, basically Linux used for a server purpose only. That's why people say Linux is secure, but if you see most of the systems are Windows systems only. Why? Because Linux is basically used for a server purpose only, not for a desktop. Of course, Linux based desktop operating systems also there. Example, Ubuntu desktop. It's a desktop based operating system. Unix operating systems comes under network operating systems. Next, operating systems also we have to tell type of operating system based on the users and task base. Like a single user, single task operating system means only one user at a time can able to interact with operating system, but and only one task we can able to do it. That is single user, single task called a Microsoft DOS is usually single user, single task operating system. Another type is single user multitask. Single user multitask. So Windows operating systems are generally single user multitask. You can do multiple tasks. See, multiple tabs I can open it, multiple applications I can able to it. Okay, so I'm using a paintbrush, I'm using Microsoft Teams, I'm using a Microsoft Edge, WhatsApp. Okay, so multiple tasks I can able to do it, but I can interact with only one user. I can log in with only one user, either directly login or a remotely login. So either direct login or a remote login, only one user at a time. So multi-user multitask means multiple tasks we can run, but also multiple users can able to log into same system. Either directly means direct physically they can log in, as well as through remote also they can log in. Example, Unix and Linux based operating systems are a multi-user multitask operating systems. Okay. Windows is comes under single user multitask. Windows is single user multitask. Linux is multi-user multitask. Okay. Not only these guys, also there is a several type of operating systems are there. Okay. Real-time operating system, mobile operating system, distributed operating system is also there. Distributed operating system. Okay. But I am added only two because just for our understanding. Real-time operating system means we are using a common operating systems. For example, I have a laptop. It is a Lenovo laptop. Someone having a HP laptop. Someone having a Dell laptop. So there are all having a Windows operating system on commonly like, right? We are having a not for specific hardware thing, right? So not for a specific purposes. So general purpose operating systems we are using. Either it is a Windows or a Linux based operating system or a Mac OS. It is a general purpose operating system. You can use it for any other purposes, any purposes. Okay. So that is so general purpose. But real-time operating system, the operating system will designed for a specific task and specific hardware purpose. A specific task and specific hardware purpose. For example, you have a AC controller is there. Internally, there is some interface is there. So people will write a code for that one. So for this hardware, work with this particular interface, operating system interface. So then you can able to interact with it. Okay, it's a piece of code. It is a very small in size compared to traditional operating systems. Its size is smaller, faster it will work. It is totally controlled by the manufacturer. It is not meant for running a different applications. That is a real time. Usually, if you can able to imagine, that is, you have a satellites in a certain organization. Use some different interfaces are there, not our traditional operating system, that so they have a different kind of interfaces. Not ATM. ATM use Windows operating system in background. Okay, I have seen that one, so don't worry. So specific hardwares, space for a certain specific task purpose, certain interfaces purpose, the manufacturers will design this operating system. Okay, it is not for a general purpose or such for what it is. What is a mobile operating system? Different mobile operating systems are there. Mobile phones are become more popular. Okay, so in our olden days, we have a Windows-based operating systems are there. BlackBerry become more popular earlier days. Symbian is used by Nokia. Now it is more popular one is Android and iOS. So that's it. Okay. So different mobile operating systems. Guys understand different type of operating systems.
Yes, sir.
Very good. So these two parts are there. Once this is completed, I will give you a break. Then I will tell about a few things. Like we'll go to another slide part. Okay. Here it is. Last time someone asked when I told about SOS and NYS. Simple operating system means desktop-based operating systems. Network operating systems are a server-based operating systems. What is these things? Also, just for our get an idea. Normal desktop operating system. If you take our Windows 10, so we can run different type of applications, right? We play games. We do certain programming, like we learn Python, we learn Java, we learn C languages. Okay, we store data there. We can play audio files, video kind of stuff, web browsing, so many things you can able to do it. And also it is a client piece. We can use our desktop PCs as a client PC. Okay. And also we can call this as a end user device. Means user is directly interacting with a desktop operating systems. And the desktop voice is also a client voices. Workstations are a client voices, client PCs. So that is the main part of desktop operating system. It is flexible to do multiple things. Server operating systems not meant for a people, means general public. We cannot use the server operating system because they don't have these kind of facilities. Like if you want to play a game, that the relevant kind of support, operating system support won't be there. Okay, audio, video kind of stuff, multimedia, different type of web browsing. We cannot do in the web server operating system. We can do it, but still it is not meant for that one. Server operating systems are meant to provide a certain services, either by built-in features, or by installing some applications. It provides a certain services. For example, DHCP server. So a server has a built-in feature like a DHCP server. Once you are enable that feature, it becomes DHCP server. Why this guy? Okay, then we can put in a group. Rishabh is there or here? One second, guys. Are you able to hear my voice? My voice is clear.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You are audible.
Rishabh,
sir.
are you able to hear? The internet is okay, internet, not full-fledged internet it is. But 25 is also good. 25, 28. This is 35, 36, 33, 32. But it is also a decent connection. Okay. So I don't know. So I will put a close. That is the better. Okay. So server operating system has a built-in certain features are there, or by installing certain applications, it can become a certain kind of service or servers, like a DHCP server, DNS server, VPN server, web server, application server, file server, mail servers. Okay, we are able to send a mail, right? Gmail, Yahoo Mail we are doing, that is a mail server. Okay, authentication servers, proxy servers, remote desktop server, deployment server, database servers. Okay, so how to become a database server? Simply install a Oracle database in your machine. You'll become a database server. Or install a MySQL application in your server, then automatically it is a MySQL database server. See it is. Install a Tomcat in your machine, it is become web server and application server. Okay, so like that. If you install a Microsoft Exchange application in the Microsoft servers, then it is a mail server. If you install a Zimbra or a Squirrel Mail application in the Linux machine, so then it is become a mail server. Okay, so sometimes in our server operating systems having certain built-in features and roles, by installing it become a server. Okay, or you have to install certain application, server based application, then it is act like a server. That's it. Okay, server operating systems like a Windows server or Linux server or Unix server operating systems are to use it to for create as a one particular server which is provided the services to the clients, whereas the desktop operating system utilize the services. I'm not providing web services. I'm web I'm accessing website. Okay. Yeah. So last is there. So for before taking in operating system basic part. You guys understand difference between server operating system and desktop operating system?
Yes, sir.
So here, so we discussed only few points about Windows and Linux. So we have a different operating system, Windows and Linux, based operating system. Mac operating system means Apple laptops, MacBooks having Mac operating system. Okay, but I don't have much idea about a Mac operating system. I will try to tell 2-3 points about a Mac operating system. Okay, Windows operating system is not as open source, but Linux is a open source operating system. Guys, open source does not mean free operating system. Open source means every application or a operating system, every application operating system based build based on the a code, right? The main code is closed, means you cannot able to see the original source code of a application or an operating system. We just interact with that application or operating system. But if in case the main source code is also available to the people, that is called a directly, it is available for everyone, that is called a open source. See, this is a kernel.org. It is a, if you go to this website, you can find your latest kernel, Linux kernel. Download Linux kernel. Okay, download the Linux kernel and build your own Linux operating system. You can create your own Linux operating system. Main kernel part is required. You have already taken kernel, develop your kernel operating system. Sorry, kernel, develop your kernel and develop your shell also. Develop your kernel, develop your shell. So then you are created a new Linux based operating system. So Linux is basically not an operating system itself. Linux is an open source kernel is there. So people take this Linux kernel and develop and distribute it as a different operating systems. Okay. So this Linux kernel is designed and developed by Linus Torvald. Guys, anybody know this Git? Not GitHub, Git.
Yes.
Right? So programming people, full stack developers, people know as this Git, right? So we versionize our program code using Git. So who developers? Linus Torvald. So one of the Git developer is Linus Torvald. So this is the Linus Torvald. Okay. That's why he took a basic Unix kernel part, small part in Unix kernel, and developed the Linux kernel. The Linux name, it came from this Linus and Unix. Okay, so that's this is the person who built it. Okay, it's a coder, that's it. So the Linux operating system is open source operating system, means the Linux kernel is available to everyone. You can take the Linux kernel and develop and distribute freely. So no need to pay for this Linux based operating system. Most of the Linux based operating system, you no need to pay. Okay, so everyone distribute the Linux. So anyone can develop and distribute the Linux based operating systems. Okay, build and develop, develop, build, distribute, what you can use. Okay, Ubuntu, CentOS, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, Debian, Fedora, Asian Linux, AW Linux, Microsoft Linux is also came into market now. Okay, Microsoft Linux is also there. These are all people who took this Linux kernel and developed and distributed. Okay, it has a license like a GPL GNU type of license, general public license version 2, and this license, Linux license, we call it as a GNU, means GNU not Unix, GNU not Unix. Okay, no proprietary, so no need to take any permission or a license. You need to like I am the owner of this Linux operating system. No one is there. There is no ownership is there on the Linux operating system. You can take it and develop it. Whereas Windows is not an open source. You cannot see the source code of Windows operating system. It is a proprietary of Microsoft. It is a proprietary of Microsoft. Microsoft owning this Windows operating system. Both Windows Server and Windows Desktop operating systems. So Windows operating system basically GUI based operating system. Mostly we work with Windows GUI based only. Less CLI. Of course, there is a CLI based operating systems also there. So means the CLI version is also there, but mostly we use GUI based operating systems. That's why Windows is a more user friendly because of GUI, graphical user interface. Without having more training in Windows operating system, fastly we can able to use it. Very less computer knowledge people also can start working with the Windows operating system. Whereas the Linux, less GUI, more CLI, and that too powerful CLI in the Linux based operating systems. Windows is mostly not case sensitive. Like you create a file or a folder with the cap letters or small letters, both are same here. In Linux, it is not like that. It is a compulsory case sensitive. Every command, every file, every folder, every directory. So compulsory you have to maintain the cases. Okay. So to use a basically Windows based operating system, you require a license. Mostly it is you have to pay for a license purpose. You want to utilize Windows operating system, you need a license. For that license, you have to pay. Whereas a Linux operating system, generally Linux based operating system, we should not say Linux OS, Linux based operating system. Linux is not a OS. Linux based operating system like Ubuntu, CentOS, Red Hat, Enterprise Linux. These are all Linux based operating system. Mostly it is free licenses. You need to pay for a license. Next, guys, virus. Generally, most of the viruses are created and attacking for purpose of Windows operating system. So those type of viruses are a Windows based applications don't work in a Linux. So obviously Windows execution style is different. Linux execution of files are different. So obviously that's again obviously so Windows based things won't work in Linux. So obviously this virus kind of stuff won't work here. In Windows, we have a desktop type of operating system and server type operating system. In Linux, mostly all are server based operating system only. Only one or two operating systems are desktop based operating system. Windows is user friendly. Linux is need a trained professionals to work with the Linux based servers. Okay, Linux based systems. In Windows, we have a user called administrator. Is an administrator of your Windows operating system, and there is administrator account is also there. In a Linux, root user is an administrator of Linux. Single user multitasking. Windows is a single user multitask. Linux is a multi-user multitask. Very important, guys. Windows required more hardware footprint. Means to run a Windows operating system, for example, you want to run Windows 10 operating system, minimum 2 GB RAM is required. 4 GB is good. If you want to run Windows 11 operating system, you need a 4 GB RAM. Whereas you can take a Linux based operating system, you can run Linux operating system on 1 GB RAM also. 2 GB RAM is good. 4 GB RAM is much better. Okay. So like this. And Linux is a basically CLI base. If you use pure minimal CLI, you know, when I was practicing, so from practicing and teaching classes on a DevOps, I usually started on a Windows. So I started teaching on a Windows base because it won't confuse anyone. So no, not required more commands. But when I first install in a Windows operating system, I install a Git, working good. Jenkins system become little slow. Docker system is totally slow. The setup, total applications are working, then it is very slow. If I in additional, if I am using any database application, or maybe if I am using a Eclipse kind of application, totally system is very slow. Even 4 GB, 6 GB system is very slow. And later I tried on a Linux. I installed all the things. I installed Docker, I installed Maven, I installed Jenkins, I installed a Git, I installed other few background services also. With 1 GB or 2 GB RAM also it is working very fine. But totally CLI based, it is always working fine. Means more graphics, more hardware requirement. Less graphics, less hardware requirements, right? Guys, once more point. Lot of people when comes to Windows and Linux, they concentrate on security. We don't know that security, guys. No one will tell which one is the secure one. In this world, there is no device is secure. No device is secure. Okay, so that is to keep in mind. Okay, so don't compare with the security purpose, but simple things only. Concentrate on first simple things. Okay, later if you want to add a security virus kind of stuff, you can add those things to boost up your things. Okay, so once again I will tell, Linux is open source operating system. It is the source code of a Linux is open. The kernel part of Linux is open, so anybody can able to take Linux kernel and develop and distribute the operating system. In Linux, there is a different distributions of operating system. Distributions are there. Linux based OSs distributed distributions are there, like a Ubuntu example, Ubuntu operating system, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, Fedora, Debian, CentOS, Asian Linux, okay, SUSE Linux, SUSE, AWS Linux, Microsoft also. Microsoft Linux is also there. So anyone can take a Linux kernel, develop and distribute it. So Linux is actually Linux developed by Linus Torvald. Linux is basically CLI based operating system. So powerful CLI is there, less using of GUI. Linux is case sensitive. Linux is basically server based operating system. Linux is multi-user, multitasking operating system. Linux having a less GUI and more CLI, it means it is hardware requirement to run the Linux operating system is lesser compared to Windows. Windows is more GUI based operating system. The more hardware requirement is there to run Windows operating system. It is single user multitasking operating system. Linux to Windows. Windows is a more user friendly than Linux. In Windows, we have a two operating system. One is a desktop operating system. Another one is a server operating system. To use any Windows operating system, generally there is a license. You have to pay for a license. Okay, and Windows do not have a distributions. Microsoft distribute the Linux Windows operating systems, but others cannot able to do it because it is not an open source. It is a proprietary of Microsoft. The whole ownership is Microsoft only. So these are the difference between Linux and Unix. Concentrate on easy and very important points only. Multitask, user task. That is, use that words. Don't go with the security, not security kind of stuff. Of course, you can tell for last as a final last and final point wise, you can tell Windows is not secure, Linux is secure, but there is no proof. Proof is there, but Linux is open source, means everybody knows the source code. But how it is secure, guys? Because of it is open source, you can create your own personal security. Windows provided default security, but Linux we can secure. Linux administrator will secure Linux system by creating his own personal security. Okay. Actually, in this PPT, there is a things about Windows 10. Okay, about a Windows 10 features, Windows 10 editions, requirements for Windows 10, minimum installation requirements, what is upgrade, what is migrate, What is meant by activations, Windows 10 architectures, system configuration parts also there, and about a registry, disk management registry. Okay, this is about a registry. Okay, like this. Service management. Okay, and I think application. If you got a problem with application, what to do? What is BSOD? What is safe mode? What is safe mode, guys? So one point can I tell? So what is safe mode? Safe mode is a minimal operating system. Safe mode is a minimal operating system used for troubleshooting. In a safe mode, most of the backend services, certain applications, virus, antiviruses, certain drivers do not work. Okay, safe mode is a minimal operating system used to troubleshoot your system. Okay, so in a safe mode, simple example for a safe mode is, for example, there is an application in your system. You want to uninstall that application. Application is not working. You want to uninstall the application.
The safe mode is designed to find the problem with your apps and
Designed to find
the problems with your app.
how to find.
Sir, I'm asking, is it correct?
No, not designed. So don't use that word designed. So designed means designed to find a problem with your application means once you go to safe mode, there is an application problem is there, automatically it will tell you what is application problem. Or it will
Okay,
declare.
sir.
No, it won't do that kind of stuff. Okay.
Okay, sir.
For example, best example I will tell guys, always this is very important. What is the story is, you have an antivirus in your PC. Okay, usually you purchase a laptop, it comes with a McAfee antivirus. 30 days trial completed. So antivirus become not working. So it won't scan anything, but it is active in your system, but it won't scan. It will only pop up, pay amount, reactivate. Now what you do? We'll take another antivirus, we install another Avast or Avera kind of stuff, our antivirus, we do it. Now total system is very slow. And very importantly, the antiviruses are very difficult to uninstall. Sometimes it is very smoothly uninstall, sometimes it won't uninstall because of the backside, the backend process. It's not stopping. Sometimes certain antiviruses do not have a exit buttons. We cannot exit from the antivirus. It is completely binded to your system. So what to do? You can go to safe mode. In a safe mode, mostly main system component, main things like a certain applications, drivers, and including the display properties also become very less. Normal we are seeing 1366 into 768 display screen. So safe mode only 800 into 600 display screen only will get it. No audio drivers, no video drivers will work here. So if you have an issues in a safe mode, to troubleshoot your PC, like you are getting an issue with an application, you want to uninstall an application, but you cannot do in normal time. So you can go to safe mode, you can uninstall the application. You want to delete a data, you can go to safe mode, you can delete the data. You want to do some system restoration, you can go to safe mode and do system restoration. Okay. You want to, antivirus is there. You can uninstall antivirus in the safe mode very easily. Okay. You have a drivers. The drivers are not uninstalling, but you are getting a problem with these drivers. If you got a BSOD, blue screen of death, Okay, you are getting a blue screen of death because of you install certain drivers or an application. Okay, or an application or a drivers you installed or recent updates causing the blue screen of death. What to do? Go to safe mode, revert that one. Means if you are updated, uninstall the update or uninstall that application, uninstall the drivers. So then you can able to troubleshoot. So safe mode is a minimal operating system. It is used for troubleshooting, not interface. 1 second. Sir, in a class learn, sir. Okay. Yeah. So to troubleshoot our system, application related, a drivers related, or a file related, virus related, to do troubleshooting, and also for a restore means system restoration purpose. Also we use safe mode. Okay, only that points are enough, guys. Okay, so safe mode is a minimal operating system used for troubleshooting. Okay, so in a safe mode it is a minimal, so means it is not full operating system. So you want to troubleshoot certain things like you want to uninstall an application or uninstall a drivers, or you want to delete certain files which we cannot able to do in a normal mode, we can do in a safe mode. To go to safe mode, two options are there. One is when you start your computer, so you press the power button, keep pressing F8, then you will get a save mode screen like this. Okay, you'll get a save mode screen. There you can select safe mode or a safe mode with networking. Otherwise, so your already system is on, then go to ms config. So go to boot tab, safe mode check mark and network, then you okay, then you will go to safe mode. So this is system restore, guys. System restore means, so we have to create a system restoration point here. So go to your this one, protection, system protection, this one. Then it is system properties, system protection. Here is already selected. You have to create a system restoration point. You have to create a system restoration point. What is that? For example, today I created a system restoration point, or it is there. After 1 week, what happened? I found there is some problem because of certain recent installation of application or a recent setting. I have done certain settings after system restoration point is created. I have done certain settings. So then I got a certain issue. I got some problem. So what I have done? No. I have to go back to the previous. I am unable to uninstall that application or maybe unable to revert that setting. What to do? So I choose system restoration point, which is created earlier. Then I restore. Means what happened? After system restoration point, what are the applications you installed, settings you have done, that will be reset back. But data won't be restored or data won't be deleted or not restored. Okay, so that is a system restoration point. So at least you know the word, you can search how to create and all. Now we don't have that much time. Okay, what I told guys, what we discuss about operating system, type of operating system, and Windows Linux differences. Just now I told about a safe mode in Windows, system restore. Actually, I want to tell these things in separate video, separate part, separate break. Otherwise, we will discuss again. So better we'll separate, no confusion in it. So Windows also there is a few points. So we'll discuss in one single part. Okay. Take a 10 minutes break, guys. Okay.